checking my watch to make sure I can still say good morning, right? And I can, so good morning, everyone. Good morning. We'll go ahead and get started because I realize everybody has schedules to do, and there's a lunch afterwards, so I want to make sure that I don't stay up here too long and interrupt lunch, right? So, my name is Don Cole. I'm the president here at Rankin Technical College. Welcome to each and every one of you, and specifically welcome to the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center right here at the Rankin Technical College campus. I appreciate you joining us for today for this building dedication. So, you all know, because I see a lot of familiar faces out there, that Rankin Technical College, if we want to talk about our mission, right, we're a private, non-for-profit, degree-grading institution of higher learning whose primary mission is to provide the comprehensive education training necessary to prepare students for employment and advancement in a variety of technical career fields. Right? That's what we do, that's who we are. Now, I will tell you that we carry that mission out with a three-part educational formula. And ultimately, all three parts are just as important. Of course, technical education, right? It's just expected. In fact, if you wonder why all the cars are here today, we actually have a job fair going on today. We've got about 537, 540 companies over on in the other buildings. And ultimately, they're all looking for employees. They're all looking for technicians. And they just assume that if it's a Rankin graduate, that they're technically competent. So technical education is definitely one part of our educational formula. Again, our employers just automatically assume that our students are technically competent. That's just 1/3 of our educational formula. The second component includes what we call general education. So why do you all think that we teach general education? I'm going to warn you, I used to teach at one point in time in my life, so if nobody answers, I start calling on people, right? So why do you all think that we teach general education? To be prepared for the future, right? It is. It's necessary. In fact, I mentioned that we're an institution of higher learning. So we're actually accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, the same accrediting agency that accredits Lindenwood University and St. Louis University and University of Missouri and all that. So ultimately, yeah, we have to teach general education because we're quote-unquote a real college. That's not really why we do it, though. We do it because, again, industry tells us they want students who can read, write, and communicate. They want employees who have an appreciation for lifelong learning, realizing that this is just the first step in a lifelong career, especially within technical education. So we teach general education because industry tells us that's what they want. The third component is what we call work ethic. And we define that as the employability skills that every employer wants in an employee, right? So we actually have 5 core work ethic traits that include professionalism, positive attitude and approach, respect for workplace structure, the ability to get along with others, honesty, putting craftsmanship into the work. We actually have students, I know I have a couple of alumni out here in the crowd here, we actually have students, if you look at a transcript, whether it be a past, present, or future Rankin student, the general education, technical education, and work ethic components are all reflected on their transcript. In fact, I will tell you, we've had students who have passed the technical stuff. They've met the general education requirements, but because they did not meet the work ethic requirement, they didn't graduate from Rankin. That's how serious we take it. So all 3 parts of those educational formula, technical education, general education, and work ethic is all equally important. Now what I love about this building is a perfect example of our mission and that educational formula in action. What I mean by that is we know that students learn technical skills best by doing it, right? Not by just reading, writing, and talking about it, but by actually doing it. And this building represents that. In other words, the best way to prepare somebody to go to work is to use real-world work whenever possible. Now, we're lucky enough to have industry partners that allow us to have just that. Real-world work for carrying out that mission of preparing students to go to work in technical careers. So, this building is a perfect representation of industry and education working together to create successful economic development. Now, some of our industry partners that are represented in this building, and I know I've got a couple of people out there, and so if I read your company name, if you could stand, I greatly appreciate it. So I know Logica Systems, I know Ben's with Logica Systems out there. Evergreen, they're not here because they're busy working. Emerson, I don't think I've got an Emerson representative here. BioMary, I know Norm is out there from GWR, Nedick, Enterprise Holdings, and of course Hunter Engineering. And of course we've got even more companies represented throughout the rest of the campus, but those are the main companies represented within this facility. Now, of course, this concept of intertwining industry and education in this wonderful facility would not be possible if it wasn't for our funding partners, our donors, right? And of course, I have to, how many people out there are a member of the Rankin Legacy Society? If you could raise your hand. Rankin Legacy Society, there you go. Now, these have been long-time donors who have been given to Rankin over and over and over again, year after year. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining us today. Of course, I'd also like to recognize at least one of our partners, and that is the Robert W. Plaster Foundation, who this building is named after, right? And today we're fortunate to have Jason Hanisch, Executive Director of the Robert W. Plaster Foundation, here with us. So Jason has moved from Helena, Montana to St. Louis in 1989, right? So after 33 years, I think you're St. Louisan. I think we can officially call you a St. Louisan, right? But even more so than that, after he moved here, he became an influential advocate for political and economic reform in Missouri. He served as the Executive Director of Citizens for Home Rule and Empower St. Louis from 2000 to 2004. In 2002, he managed a successful lobbying effort through the Missouri State Legislature and the subsequent statewide campaign for a constitutional amendment granting home rule to St. Louis City, which was approved by nearly 70% of Missouri voters. See if you get anything approved, right, by 70% of the voters. That's definitely an accomplishment. He then ran campaigns for 4 of 17 candidates for the St. Louis City School Board, and all 4 candidates won. In 2005, he became the founding staffer for the Show Me Institute, a Missouri-based think tank that has successfully influenced many state-based policies and became a model for other think tanks. In 2009, he founded Missouri New Horizons, a statewide nonprofit newswire service servicing 35 TV, radio, and newspaper outlets. In 2014, so again, like I said, 33 years, he's already earned the St. Louis thing just by going through all that, right? In 2014, he became the Associate Executive Director of the Robert W. Plaster Foundation in Lebanon, Missouri. He became the Executive Director of the Foundation in January of 2022. Since Jason has been with the Foundation, it has increased from 5 to 10 states and increased the number of named projects from 15 to 35. And we're one of them, and we're very grateful for that. Jason has served on the Board of Directors of Metropolis St. Louis, a group devoted to revitalizing the city of St. Louis, on the board of TNR Report, a nonprofit news organization in Tennessee, and Lebanon Rotary as well. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from the University of Missouri St. Louis, and of course he enjoys many friendships, outdoor sports, cooking, history, and any activity with his children, which he's a busy man. I know he never gets to spend enough time with his family, so I appreciate him joining us here today to give a few words of wisdom. Jason, come on up. Thank you.
The number one issue I have is I don't speak very loudly. So I thought to use my other voice. So you can't hear me loud. It's nice seeing everyone today. Thank you for a wonderful host. What a wonderful day and all the events going on. It was a little challenging to find a parking spot. That's a wonderful thing. I'd like to start really talking about Mr. Plaster because he's not with us today. And I think it's important that we know about the man who provided the funding for this. I never had the chance to meet Mr. Plaster, though I wish I had. There are many fascinating stories. But I can say that I've gotten to know about him through several of his favorite sayings that are still used in the family businesses today. Can't never quit. Never fail until you stop trying. Results are what I'm paid to produce. And the difference between mediocrity and success is an hour a day. Throughout the offices down there, we have cubes that have these things on each side, so you can't get away from them. And of course, I've got to know about him through his family. This outstanding facility, the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center, is one of many results his foundation has helped to ensure his legacy and to share his belief in the free enterprise system. Robert Plaster believed that he could not have achieved all he did, no matter how hard he worked, if not for the free enterprise system that we enjoy in America today. We often take this for granted. Instead, we should celebrate it as we are today. Profit from work, the fruits of our labor, is what allows philanthropy, charity, and providing for others. Just think of all the students who will learn in this facility and all the boats lifted through their work. And all because our free enterprise system allows individuals the liberty to choose wisely, as we see here at Rankin Technical College. In his lifetime, institutions of higher education have benefited directly from the generosity of Robert Plaster. Now his foundation continues his legacy of generosity. And here we are today, yet another example. This is actually our second project in St. Louis, and what a nice one. That's not all. There are now 13 institutions of higher education in our home state of Missouri that have benefited, taking the number of facilities our foundation has supported in Missouri to 22. And like the TV ads, that's not all. The foundation has now supported schools in, as Don said, 10 states, bringing the total number of projects to 35. And there are several more in the works. It is a plan of our foundation to continue that dedication. I can tell you that Robert W. Plaster Foundation runs a tight ship in order to maximize what is given for the benefit of others. I don't know a better way to get to know someone through observing their family. And as we're here from in the showing state, you can see for yourself right here, right now, what that means. All that said, it's very important to acknowledge the generosity of everyone else who's donated to this project, as Don did earlier. And of course, kudos to the administration and for all your hard work and success. And of course, congratulations to the faculty and students. This is all for you, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish. Thank you.
So I will tell you, one of the perks of my job is that I get a chance to meet with donors. And it truly is a perk of my job. And I will also tell you this, sometimes you're blessed to find the perfect fit between a donor and a donee. And I would definitely say that the Plaster Foundation, under Jason's leadership, is the perfect donor. Yes, they're very generous with the donation of funds, and we got to have that, right? But the relationship is deeper than that. Keep in mind, this facility is called the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center. And I think it's important that our students, especially, understand what that means, Free Enterprise Center. Jason has introduced Rankin to many friends, but one in particular has contributed to the teaching of our students and has made such an impact that we completely have redone what every Rankin students learn. Our keynote speaker today has forever made an impact on bettering our students and better preparing our students for employment and advancement in their chosen technical career field. And I'm going to try very hard not to butcher this name, right? So Dr. Tawny Hunt Ferrarini is the Robert W. Plaster Professor of Economic Education at the Lindenwood University's Hamben Institute. You may say, oh, Lindenwood University and Rankin. Yeah, absolutely. We share partnerships, we share concepts, and we definitely recognize when other institutions are doing things right. And I will tell you, this is one of those that's right? It's right for Lindenwood and it's right for Rankin. So Tawny actually specializes in expanding the reach of sound economic education regionally, nationally, and internationally. Through her teaching experiences, research, and service, positive attention continues to be drawn to the important role of responsible and accountable individuals in society. Doesn't that ring true? It sounds just like our work ethic, right? Responsible and accountable individuals in society. Tawny specializes in technology-enhanced construction and has contributed to the redesign of Junior Achievement USA in celebration of its 100th anniversary, publishes numerous articles, and is the co-author of 3 books. And my favorite is titled Common Sense Economics, What Everyone Should Know About Wealth and Prosperity. Tawny's earned her doctorate from Washington University, where she studied under the 1993 Nobel laureate Douglas C. North, and has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Mathematics from Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. So Dr. Ferrarini is widely known for exciting a wide variety of audiences about how sound economic reasoning can help them take firm steps toward living personally rewarding lives. And I'm excited to invite her up here and share some words of wisdom with us. So, and for those of you who don't know it, general education is very important, just like I said. And one of the things that we teach our students is business and management. And I'll tell you, within that, now every student is required to learn common sense economics. Whether they're participating in this building or not, we believe it's so important that every student needs to know how to balance a checkbook. Every student needs to know what a savings account is versus some of the other things that we were teaching. We would never have been able to do that without Tony's help. So Tony, please come on up.
Welcome everyone to this celebration of free enterprise, innovation, and manufacturing. Unlike Jason, I don't have a problem with projecting my voice. I am a professor at heart. I'm an educator who does celebrate free enterprise, and what that means is that we're navigating life being responsible, accountable individuals in our own pursuits, but we get ahead by serving others in purposeful ways. As stated, I have a long history in economic education. I arrived at Lindenwood University in 2017, a part of the Junior Achievement Remake Project for their centennial celebration of free enterprise education. I had spent 20 years at Northern Michigan University working in private enterprise there, and what attracted me to Lindenwood and just pulled my heart away from a place I thought I would never leave are the people, the potential, the pockets of growth opportunity. And Jason brought me to Rankin in 2017, and I fell in love with it. And so to be honored today, I thank all of you, and I'm humbled by this opportunity. I want to discuss a few things with you. They include connecting Rankin's sound investment in the Plaster Free Enterprise Center to future growth possibilities in manufacturing and beyond. Let's highlight some of the historical moments in manufacturing. I was asked to focus on that, so I will. And discuss the role of markets. Where people go, they act and they interact. Unlike many who believe that markets are evil and just pursued by those who want to seek profit without consideration for others, private enterprise is very different. Rules that market participants play in investment, through their work and innovation, what lift us to new levels and do incredible things. It's important to have at the core of every education, whether it's in high school, a technical college, a university, this sound economic reasoning element that allows you to navigate through various environments, from the workplace to your families to your financial decisions, so that you can live through your own decisions, both comfortably and securely. Again, not by exploiting others, but helping and serving others in meaningful ways. And I'm going to conclude with a call to all of you to get more involved in what's happening here at Rankin, because I think this is forward-looking. This investment in the Plaster Center for Free Enterprise, as we walk through the halls, it's an impressive state-of-art facility. It's singularly focused in manufacturing and related industries. It partners with industry leaders, business owners, economic developers, people in high school to create these perfect matches so that we can quickly navigate what we call these very dynamic and competitive markets. We're focused on careers right now, but as we were told, this also moves into the decisions that we make when we take our paychecks home and we decide whether to spend or save, to invest, or to do something else. Rankin requires all of its students to take this introduction to business and management. And through that introductory course, they learn how to look at the benefits and the costs of doing good versus evil, helping versus exploiting, and the list goes on. So even though many of us focus on the career aspect and connecting the education of the students and their experiences with employment, we also want to dig behind and look at the quality of life and the people who are involved. Yes, there is a strong demand for qualified labor in manufacturing, and we all know that it's in short supply. U.S. manufacturing is starting to become, again, a global leader, and it's increasingly more and more competitive. But we still have to ask ourselves, isn't the best of the days of manufacturing behind us? Well, actually, this vibrant history of manufacturing is one of the reasons we live in a modern society that is so incredible. If you go back to 1776 and you look at where the United States was, we were living as a third world nation. Let me remind you, a third world nation. Income per person was extremely low. The quality of life was extremely harsh. Most individuals pulled their incomes from hunting, from fishing, fishing, and farming. Manufacturing's presence was a minuscule part of our economy then. But we had things that we needed to do. We had this swirl of political, social activity. We'd just gotten through the American Revolution. And we were having a hard time feeding our families. We were living in subsistence. We didn't have a lot for surplus production and for trade. No, we wanted to feed ourselves, sustain ourselves, and the people who were local and included in our small networks. So if you go back, and it's killing me not to have a PowerPoint here, but you know what? I've got my two devices. But anyway, if you look at income levels in the United States, and there's no such thing, by the way, as a one-handed economist. We always have two hands, and I'm going to provide evidence of that. Okay, so here we are in 1776. We're in poverty, we're struggling, we have this swirl of political, social, and economic activity and tremendous uncertainty in our world then. But then as time passes, we see the income per person in consumption and savings and investment and otherwise charitable giving starts to increase, and we have this, what we call this incredible hockey stick of prosperity. It's amazing. In fact, when we look at the average income per person, it's around $60,000. How did we get there? When you pull back the layers of onions, you see manufacturing played an incredible role. Of course, the institutions are right. They were proper, they were sound. Individuals had the freedom to choose, and as long as they did not bring harm or hurt to others, then they were able to proceed with what it is that they deemed in their best interest. And as they learned the colonists forward, as they learned to act and interact with others, they realized that these markets were incredible places where they could get exposed to many other people, they could earn wages, they could receive benefits, and then all of a sudden we see people flourishing. It's through trade, it's through innovation, it's through capital investments in manufacturing. Of course, this is on the backs of the United States learning a lot about limited government, relatively low taxes, and sound money policy. Nothing has changed. But we see this industrial revolution, and pop. As soon as people are empowered to make their own choices and they can benefit from the things that they do, including the investments in capital, we see the steam engine come forward. We see indoor plumbing. We see medicine. We see cars, air conditioning, and the list goes on. And then we have what we call this information revolution. So the hockey stick of prosperity is not just about income and sitting on a ton of cash. It is about taking that and using it responsibly for yourself, for families, and in a marketplace for people you don't even know. And that is the bridge that I think that Rankin has built that is incredibly impressive. What is happening here is in our local area and with a regional imprint, real production is increasing through the channels that Rankin provides. Employment is expanding, through the relationships between the people in manufacturing and what is happening here. Yes, this is an educational institution, and while the students are here, they're not productively engaged in helping us bring the manufacturing goods to you and I and businesses in the United States and around the world. But what they're learning is incredibly valuable, and they're doing it here versus in the workplace, where the costs of their mistakes and the value that they place on learning are much higher when they're in the workplace. Note, what happens at Rankin is they allow these manufacturing entities bring in productive workforce, people who are ready to work and contribute productively in a meaningful way with honesty and integrity surrounding them. So when we look at where we are in the world today, many people ask, well, isn't higher education a thing of the past? And I'm including technical colleges and such. Like, absolutely not. Has it changed? The face has drastically changed. And I think Rankin is in a great position right now because it's building these bridges, using these active relationships with employers, not a relationship that begins as soon as the student walks off across that graduation stage. It's when they're learning, when they're experimenting, when they're exploring what the world is like. This is a protected environment, and often what colleges do is they send them across that graduation stage with very few experiences. That doesn't happen here. So, with the history of manufacturing doing what it has done, and now we see a new era where computer technology, integrated circuits, and drones are just a natural part of the life, we have to look at where manufacturing is. Well, it's not at its peak as it was in 1979 when it employed 19.5 million people. No, it is just a small shell of itself, but it's growing. And what we're seeing is that people are switching in and out of different manufacturing jobs. So it's not only about the one skill that you acquire or the job that you train for. It's about how quickly can you pivot and go into other occupations that are related to the one in which you were trained or educated for. This is called navigating competitive markets. The world is very dynamic. And so what you're trained for while you're in school and what you're prepared to do the day after you leave may be totally different in 10 years. And so this is one of the things that manufacturing has done, and has done very well in actually since 2010, the year after the Great Recession, is it's become more dynamic. And what's happening in manufacturing in the United States is actually quite impressive, and it's being very quick to respond to the call for advancement in high skills, to be able to adapt to technological changes, and to make sure that what you're doing here is related to what's going on outside of your own world. And that is what is at the heart of common sense economics. It's helping people understand what is at the heart of wealth and prosperity. This is based on Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, 1776. And you would think that the father of modern economics wouldn't have anything to say that all of us could relate to. Well, actually, he does. Again, it's not through our own selfish interests that we make our world better. But again, it's by serving others. And when I say it's serving others, it's not just in any old way or what you think is best. It's about you communicating and responding and connecting to the people that you serve. And we're focusing on the places of employment right now. So though the students may come to the employers and they have these skills that they feel qualify them to work, we all know that once they land in the workplace, there's this conflict. What they do and what the employers expect sometimes takes time to work out. But Rankin allows them to hit the ground running. So not only does Rankin produce graduates who are high skilled, they're also good listeners, and they have the ability to use economic reasoning to pursue those things that their employers value. And at the end of the day, what matters to them is they do take home a paycheck. Rankin takes the additional step and says, all right, what are you going to use that paycheck to do? We want you to spend responsibly. We want you to save regularly. Think about your future and invest in diversified fashions so that you don't depend primarily on your working income in the future to fund your retirement. You actually have built up private investments and a nest egg that carries you through your active career. So at the end of the day, those of you who support Rankin Technical College are investing today with your time. We have employers in the room who are investing time by working with the students. We have educators, administrators, and others who are designing the programs and creating the experience, so a lot of learning takes place. But it's not just in the technical aspects of their life that these students advance their knowledge, is they get some practical experience in managing finances, thinking about how to respond to changes in their workplace, thinking about the future, and understanding that the world is very dynamic. The wonderful thing is, here we sit. We just got through the pandemic, and what a great relief it is to be here in person. But we also have this political and social swirl of events that are happening in the world today. We have many things in common with our colonial past. We live in a time of uncertainty. We're burdened with a ton of federal debt. We have many questions to be answered on the legislative side of things. But at the heart, we are innovators. We're entrepreneurs. And we are individuals who enter the workplace not just for a paycheck, but we're individuals who are there to serve our employers and turn around and provide goods and services to not only the United States, but around the globe. So I want to say thank you to everyone who made today possible. I want to invite the people who are in this room to continue to be an important part of what's going to be happening in this manufacturing and incubation center. This is just the beginning of incredible things to happen, but at the heart of Rankin is a desire to connect with employers, connect with the students, communicate the things that are going well and not going so well, so that they can collaborate. We want to have a future that not only involves us, but brings a lot of other people along with us, and the wealth and the prosperity that we bring not only to our homes, our communities, and throughout the United States, but we also reach around the globe and we bring a lot of other people with us too. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for your time, and my hope is that you have a delightful afternoon.
Johnny, thank you so very, very much for that message. And I will tell you, now you know why I think it's, and I learn something every time I hear you speak, I really do. And I will tell you, that's why I think it's so important that every student learns about common sense economics. It really is. It just makes a lot of sense, and it's a perfect fit with what we do here at Rankin. So, you know, I've got this background here, and it's a cheat sheet for me too, because it's got the year we were established, right? So, right there, we've been here since 1907. And I'll tell you, Rollo Wells was the mayor of the city of St. Louis from 1901 to 1909. In fact, he was the one that introduced the idea to David Rankin Jr. of creating a school to teach the dignity of labor. David Rankin liked the idea, and we've been operating right here in the city of St. Louis in continuous operation since 1907. So Rollo Wells was the 30th mayor of the city of St. Louis. It is my honor to have the 47th mayor, the Honorable Tashara Jones, represented here with us today by one of her colleagues, Frederica McGlown. Frederica is the Executive Director of the St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment, SLATE, the Workforce Investment Board, all about getting employment and people matched up, right? So Frederica actually brings more than 10 years of experience in creating, managing, executing, and supporting programs that positively impact the lives of youth through education, employment, and training, in an effort to eradicate barriers and behaviors that temporarily inhibit their success. And that's very, very important. St. Louis Business Journal 30 Under 30 Award recipient, Frederica is a graduate of the University of Missouri-St. Louis, earning a master's degree from the institution. She's a proud native of East St. Louis, Illinois. And I got to know Frederica because of our joint work on the Youth Build program. And I can tell you that I've spent a little bit of time with her and that she's very passionate about helping youth find the right pathway. So, Frederica, please come up and share some comments with us.
To the Robert W. Plaster Foundation, to President Don Poe, faculty, staff, students, elected officials, industry leaders and partners, educators, community organizations, special guests, dignitaries, and all present with us here today as we have gathered for such a time as this to elect, celebrate the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center on the campus of Rankin Technical College in the heart of the city of St. Louis. Good afternoon. I bring you greetings on behalf of the mayor of our great city, the Honorable Tashara O. Jones, who sends all of her love and well wishes to each and every one of you. I am Frederica McLeod, Executive Director of the St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment, better known as SLATE, which is the administrative entity of the city of St. Louis, leading the city's employment and training efforts. Therefore, it was fitting that I join you in Mayor Jones's absence. The significance of a dedication ceremony symbolizes the beginning of a new adventure, the start of something special and the groundbreaking of something grand. But there's something special and something different about this dedication ceremony in that it symbolizes the growth of something great and the expansion and the evolution of a continued endeavor for Rankin to prove once again that not only are you a front runner, but the front runner in creating avenues for those who are underrepresented to be represented in various technical fields, in serving as a catalyst for workforce and economic development throughout the region, and continuing to put St. Louis on the map by ensuring we are competitive globally. At SLATE, we have a tagline that says where community meets opportunity. And this couldn't be a more fitting statement to commemorate today's festivities. Through the Plaster Foundation's generous dedication and support, and Rankin's leadership and commitment to providing comprehensive education and training necessary to prepare the community for employment and advancement in the field of manufacturing, and providing the opportunity for students to be equipped with the necessary tools, skills, and resources needed in an effort for them to thrive beyond the classroom and be competitive in today's workforce. This center could not have come at a better time, where the manufacturing industry is in dire need of tenacious talents, new and innovative ideas, high energy, and those eager to seize and take full advantage of the endless opportunities the world of manufacturing has to offer. Therefore, it is imperative that institutions such as Rankin and organizations such as the Robert W. Plaster Foundation exist to skill up, level up, and develop the next generation of leaders and workers to sustain the workforce for years ahead. This historical and commemorative dedication serves as a milestone in Rankin's history, and that the college now joins the ranks of numerous schools on the receiving end of the Plaster Foundation's contributions in the state of Missouri, which include Missouri State University, which houses the Robert W. Plaster Sports Complex and Plaster Student Union, Southwest Baptist University, which houses Plaster Stadium, Missouri Southern State University, which houses the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center, and the Robert W. Plaster School of Business at Crowder College and the College of the Ozarks. To the Plaster Foundation, thank you for your dedication and generous support to uplift our community, and to Rankin, thank you for your continued efforts and continued vision. My charge is that you both continue to operate in excellence, continue to create opportunities for communities to thrive, and continue your great work. Thank you to Rankin Technical College, the Plaster Foundation, and Mayor Jones for allowing me to share this moment with you. I wish you nothing but the best in all of your endeavors, and if there's anything that the Slate Missouri Job Center can do to ensure your continued success, we stand ready to assist you, and congratulations on this milestone. Thank you.
Frederica's enthusiasm is always very contagious, and I will tell you, I got the chance to go to a Youth Build graduation here recently, and I think I ended up signing up to be a member of the Youth Build program without even knowing it. So again, thank you for that. In fact, we appreciate the support from the mayor's office, especially as we continue to expand and teach the dignity of labor right here in the city of St. Louis. And of course, to make all of this happen, you must have the right people on the job. Of course, this includes the faculty and employees that act as the go-betweens between education and industry. And there's too many out there to mention, so I'm not going to make the mistake of doing that, but it takes a lot of behind the scenes to make this work. And, of course, you know, it takes a great board of trustees. And I know I have a couple of board of trustee members here today. I know I see Rebecca Fritsch. So Rebecca, if you'll wave. I know I see Dave Shepherds. Dave, if you'll stand and be recognized. Do I have any other board members here besides Steve Moss? Steve Moss is special, right? So Steve is actually one of our board members that does a lot for the institution. You know, he's a retired senior vice president of new business development with Nutter Erickson Incorporated. He's a mechanical engineer by trade. So Steve has held varied leadership roles with the CIC Group and all of its subsidiaries, the Nutter Corporation included, since 1976. He played a key role in the globalization of Nutter Ericsson's supplier base and was responsible for exploration and evaluation of new products. Steve currently serves as Secretary and Treasurer of the Board of Trustees and has provided invaluable leadership. So all around, he's a great board member, a great guy, and I'm going to invite him up now to share a few words with us. Steve?
Speaker, you always run the risk of being a little redundant. Hopefully I'll keep that to a minimum. And I'd like to take my time to talk about a well-known two-word phrase, win-win. The phrase describes how a negotiation between two opposite sides can achieve something that's good for both sides, or a single decision that has multiple good outcomes. Either way, there are no losers. What I'd like to mention today is the building that we're dedicating represents a win-win, win-win-win. 5 wins. I'm sure I'm missing some, but the ones I'm going to talk about are 1, the students, 2, our industry partners, 3, the local community, 4, Rankin itself, and 5, the Robert W. Plaster Foundation. Number 1, the kids. After all, that's why we're here. We have about 70 kids, students, young adults, participating in the programs that are currently taking place in this building. They have an opportunity to earn between $4,000 and $5,000 a semester. That goes a long way toward living expense and paying down tuition. You know, one of our goals is every student has the opportunity to graduate debt-free. And that's something to say. But, you know, when you have graduates that start at $40,000 or $50,000 a year, a little bit of debt's probably not bad. But we strive to give everyone the opportunity to start with a fresh slate. And it also gives them the opportunity to experience and learn about the industry that their education is supporting. And they get to do it with a potential employer. So it's not flipping burgers, it's not driving a truck or anything like that. You're learning about the industry, you're applying what you're learning. Number 2, our industry partners. Don mentioned them. They get a service at a competitive price. They also get to look at people and determine which ones are going to make the best employees that have the work ethic and the talent and skill that they want to hire. You can consider this a long-term job interview. And with today, even before today's tight labor market, companies have always had the desire to hire the best employees. And we've got 540 companies on campus today that are trying to do just that, all competing against each other for our students. We've always had a very high employment rate, and there's no reason why that's going to change. The nearby community. Now, I didn't realize that we were going to be in this room. I'm going to take a risk. Are these houses, are they among the ones that were built by Rankin students? No, they're not. Okay. But they look like the houses that Rankin students have built. What I was going to say is this building represents the latest capital project in this neighborhood. Okay, now you'll notice that we're at the end of the block away from the campus. There are plans at various levels of development to backfill this area with other educational facilities. This is on top of well, I kind of got ahead of myself with the houses. This is on top of the 80-plus homes Rankin students have built from scratch over the last several years. Homes that are available at an affordable price to local residents. That was number 3. Number 4, Rankin. This building's another opportunity to make education affordable and accessible to a large part of our community that would not have that opportunity. There are various roadblocks that aren't always scalable. And Rankin has done a lot to eliminate those roadblocks. One is we've got an on-campus dormitory that's great for students that don't have the transportation they need, or possibly not the home life that is supportive. I think we have one scholarship recipient who has like 10 siblings at home, and it's just too much of a chaos, and now she's living on campus and doing very well. The other is we have a child care center, partnership with a child care center, because some of our students do have children, and that's nearby. So this is one of many things that we've done that makes our education more accessible. And I want to mention a little shout out to our former college president, Stan Chow, who his vision really, I remember the first time I toured the campus and we had the micro enterprises. And I had a hard time connecting the dots, to be honest with you. But when all this came to fruition, it's amazing this hasn't been replicated in many other areas, because it provides the ideal bridge from education to industry. And I know we're constantly looking for feedback from industry. What do you need? And we're adjusting constantly our students and their skills and schedules to make that happen. Lastly, number 5, the Robert W. Plaster Foundation. You know, I don't know if you all read the back of the program, but Robert W. Plaster was born in 1930 in Kansas City, Missouri, during the Depression. And he turned a never could, sorry. I had that memorized until I gave up. He translated that into a very large multi-state corporation. Early on, after I guess he was well established and knew he had money to donate, he came up with the concept of serving the many rather than the few. So rather than sponsoring individual scholarships, they paid for brick and mortar institutions. And I can't help but believe that this is a perfect match for their mission statement, which I'm going to read. To expand educational access and promote the virtues of the American free enterprise system through named projects. I don't know if you can have a better fit than what this building represents, and I personally thank you for your generous donation. So in summary, we have 5 win-win that I've talked about. 1 is the students, 2 is our industry partners, 3 is the local community, 4 is Rankin, and 5 is the Robert W. Plaster Foundation. I'm not sure it gets any better than that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. And I will tell you that, yes, Robert W. Plaster, very, 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 very nice man. And if you ever want to know more about him, I'll give a plug out. So his son, Stephen Plaster, actually wrote a book, right? He was the first student of the Robert Plaster School of Business, right? And I will tell you, if you ever want a chance to read it, it's available, and you can check it out for free in our library. So you're more than welcome to check the book out and read it. So Sherry, my assistant in the back, standing there, if you wave, Sherry, right? So she tells me that if you're going to invite people that want to come listen to you, you have to at least feed them. Otherwise, what's the purpose of making them come listen to you, right? So we do have lunch, and each and every one of you are invited to join us for lunch, but it's not just to quote-unquote feed you. And of course, I do want you to leave filled, right? I don't want you to leave hungry. If you did, then I failed at that. But it's also a chance to network. And if you look at the people that are here, yes, industry are here, and I can't say it better than Frederica said it at the beginning of her presentation, so I won't even try to repeat it, but we talk about economic development, and we talk about the future, and you know, at one point in time, I said, oh, you close these windows because you got this eyesore of a building sitting across the street, you know, what's that going to happen? And if you look in the back of the room, there's actually a poster there that represents AMIC, the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center. And I will tell you, I know we've got at least 2 people representing AMIC here, right? Raise your hand if you're representing AMIC. There you go. Board members of AMIC, right? So if you get a chance and you want to know more about what the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center is, talk to them. Find out what that means, find out what's going on with that, find out what the future holds. It's part of the Build Back Better grant and all that, but we've got 2 members here that can talk to you about that. Of course, we talk about industry. I've identified some of the industry members. As we talk about economic development, where's Laurie at? Or, I'm sorry, where's Julie at? So Julie's there with Tess, and of course, Julie, who are you with?
Lincoln County Economic Development.
Lincoln County Economic Development. So you may have a question as far as, well, what's going on out at Rankin West with Wentzville and Troy and Lincoln County? And Julie can tell you all about that. She's got her thumb out there, right? So where's Sam at? Is Sam still with us? There's Sam in the very back trying to hack. So Sam, who are you with?
Senator Josh Hawley.
Senator Hawley's office. So if you want to talk politics, more than just the local politics, right? You can talk to Sam. He loves talking politics, right? And of course, if you want to talk about students, and of course we've got lots of Rankin employees. We've all got Rankin logos on it, so you can talk about Rankin students all day long. But we also have Dr. Mark Penn here. So, Superintendent, who do you represent?
I represent the Lincoln County R3 School District in Troy and 7,000 students.
7,000 students. So if you want to talk about those students that are coming up into the pipeline, we have a great relationship with that school district. If you want to talk about that, he'd be more than happy to sit down and discuss. And I know we have some alumni here and some long-term donors. So I encourage you over lunch to network and get any questions you have answered and talk to the neighbors and find out what's going on, right? So I'll echo what Steve just said. Thank you all for joining us here today. You know, for this momentous occasion, I look forward to advancing the current workforce and, of course, building the next workforce. Again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to all of our partners for making this vision a reality. And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to eat lunch, right? So right exit out that door, there's facilities right to the left, and there's one of the, Emerson was so grateful that we were able to move out what we're doing in that. If you you're wondering what we're doing with Emerson in the lobby is the Emerson PLP. We build those particular platforms. That's what we do in that area, but we were able to empty it out for this occasion so we could eat lunch in there and not make you travel too far and have to deal with all the crowd over there. So join us for lunch. At this point, it concludes this part of the ceremony. Thank you again for joining us.